Welcome back, guys, to Nerd TV's broadcast for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Martin Sports Truck Series, coming at you live from the simulated Talladega SuperSpeedway, where these guys are on currently race number 10, 13 for the 2023 A season. And tonight's field is looking pretty spicy. We're late into the point system. We got a couple guys in particular looking trying to capitalize and finish off the season opener of 2023 strong, that being Richie Coy and Ryan Chapman, who just have 11-point separation. The nod going to Mr. Richie Coy here, 11 points over Ryan Chapman. Third place, Brody Hanna, 41 points out. He's got some work to do, and maybe Talladega will bring in some luck and close in that gap a little bit. We got 75 laps to figure that one out. Currently, weather on the track, 108 degrees on the surface, only 78 in the skies, with a 4-mile-an-hour wind coming from the north. So not really a big factor on the super speedway side of things for these truck series, but nonetheless, my name is Jeremy, and to my right-hand side, Mr. Jason Rockefeller. How are you doing tonight?
I've been waiting for this race. Oh, and look, there's the man who's working all the action, Dustin Longston here. Welcoming you guys, obviously, back here for the Martin Sports Truck Series. Can't wait to see tonight. I mean, after the race we had last week, hopefully it's not as caution-filled tonight, but obviously this is Talladega. You're going to have a lot of high drafting, high speeds moments here tonight. I mean, already you've seen practice. We've been sitting here during pre-roll, and we were sitting here watching guys go head on into the wall and stuff like that. Tonight's going to be all about really survival. There's no really other better way to say it. These trucks are very hard to push. As you see Kyle Milliken there, the number 42, he's giving a push to the number 2 truck there. That's Alan Duranco, and you can just tell, Jeremy, that these guys are going to be having a handful to deal with tonight, because you cannot push as nearly as well as you could about a year ago in these NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series trucks. So it's going to be an interesting race, to say the least, here tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. One of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, I'm sure the FTR boys are done with the short track sessions where we had to go through Richmond, Bristol, and Martinsville. Martinsville is always the crutch here at FTSR, but we are finally through that. And super speedway racing, which they always provide some excellent racing here. But yeah, you mentioned Dustin joining in here on the broadcast for the pre-race show presented by Martin Sports. And Dustin, we have a little giveaway tonight for the NERDitudes 200. You want to discuss that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's in partnership with our fine apparel partner and the fine folks over at Martin Sports. We have worked together that today we're actually going to give away 2 prizes. First prize we're going to give away is going to be a Martin Sports t-shirt that's going to go to the race winner, no questions asked. The second prize is actually going to be a very custom pair of NERDitudes gloves designed by us, created and manufactured by Martin Sports. Is actually going to go to the hard luck driver for tonight. So the person that had the hardest luck, that probably needs just a little extra grip to get them back in contention, they're actually going to receive a pair of these NERDitudes Martin Sports sim gloves.
And that'll be determined probably overnight, as we have to figure out who exactly is going to earn that reward. That could come in multiple different ways. So unless it's a clear-cut winner, you're probably going to hear it on social media from the FTSR group and from the NERDitudes group in the following day or so. So stay tuned on our social medias to figure out who gets the hard luck award for a free pair of Martin Sports gloves. Some of the best, I'm going to correct myself, the best sim gloves here on the sim market. Final
and like you
here.
said, Jeremy, too, you know, it's sorry to cut you off, but
You're good.
Just to let everybody know out there, we're going to look at all kinds of factors in this. It's not just going to be, hey, did you start in 3rd and finish 23rd? There's going to be a lot of factors. You know, was it your starting position? How many positions did you lose? Maybe incident points. How many incidents were you involved in that you had no control over? Or, you know, was it a last minute thing? You worked your way up through the field, were battling for the lead with 5 to go, and got knocked out at the last second. So there's going to be a lot of factors that we're going to look at before we make our determination.
Yeah, so it's Talladega, right? It's one of the trickiest tracks to kind of decide that factor. It's not like it's a standard 1.5 mile oval where like you can just define it early on, right? So there could be a late race wreck that changes everything up. So it might take us a little bit longer to figure that out. But nonetheless, it's kind of cool that we are sponsoring tonight's event. our namesake on it. We're giving out some gloves. Martin Sports, just in general, just excellent partner for us and for FTSR for the truck series in 2023. Able to produce some physical merchandise for these guys out here, doing it each and every week for you guys on Nerd TV. But it is time to go to qualifying here. Always like to ride along with the fastest guy in practice. This time, Sylvain Jolly in the 08. This guy got his first win of 2022 last year at this same track with this same number. I think it was in the Cup Series, though, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, Sylvain Jolly knows how to do it here at Talladega. We're going to go on board and see what he does as he decides to maybe restart his qualifying lap here.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I mean, the fact, too, and yeah, he is going to restart his lap, probably because he maybe thought to himself he didn't get through the gears as well as he wanted to. And that's the thing, though, Jeremy and Dustin. You want to get up through the gears really well here at Talladega. You want to match your RPMs. You want to match your revs. It's all about that. And unlike real life with the trucks, Xfinity, the Cup Series, you can't just get up onto the racetrack right when you exit pit road. The way that iRacing works is coming off turn number 2 as we ride on board the gyro cam here. Inside the driver's seat practically. You're going to see right there, right off turn number 2 on the apron of the racetrack, there's that commitment line on the exit commitment line, whatever you want to call it. But that's where you exit. You have to go onto the racetrack, and usually most drivers, right when they hit that, they try to get all the way up to the outside wall, and just like you see Sylvain right here, he's riding all the way up at the top of the racetrack, not holding his line all that well, so it might not be the fastest lap in the world. I myself am not really that good here at qualifying at these super speedways like Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta, but I try the best I can. But if I know anything with real life, you want to try to be up against that wall the most you can at the fastest rate of speed that you can when you take that green flag. As you see him right here heading down to turn number 1, he's going to dive to the bottom.
To me, it's really interesting qualifying. I know to the standard viewer it might be a little boring to go, hey, why are we watching qualifying? But I always like to study these trucks and just the drivers in general. I've seen people go really wide to the trial oval to try to maximize the downhill speed, but then of course you have to get to the bottom in a certain amount of time, and to do that you have to turn the wheel, causes friction, slows down your speed. You guys, some of them just ride the bottom of the track the whole time to try to mitigate that. So it's always curious to know. It always teaches me. I'm always super slow here. I'm a terrible qualifier when it comes to super speedways, so I always kind of see what they're doing, but we're going to see what Sylvain Jolly does. Obviously he's been fast here. Just notated he won here last year. And he got fastest in practice. I know that's based off a draft lap, so it doesn't mean a whole lot. This is where you're going to see the true speed in these open setups at a qualifying speed. That really shows you who's got the best truck out here tonight. Coming to the line to start his lap through the apron here. It's going to put Sylvain Jolly, looks like about 5th place. He's on his 2nd lap here on the bottom. He went to the bottom kind of early there.
Yeah, he did go to the bottom kind of early right there, but right now, up at the top of the leaderboard right now, Brody Hanna with a 55.48, and Joey McKinney, 55.48 as well, so both those drivers practically tied in time, but Brody Hanna got him by just, I think, a few thousandths of a second. Our timing and scoring over here on Apex Racing only goes up into the tenths. It doesn't go up into the thousandths. But as we can see right now, Brody Hanna, by a few thousandths of a second, beat Joey McKinney. Joey McKinney's going to finish out qualifying that time around with a 55.58. So obviously your second lap's not really going to be the best here at Talladega. That one lap really matters the most. If I were these guys, don't even bother wasting your time trying to qualify the second lap. You know you're not going to be faster. I mean, unless you do something drastically different, like if you hit the wall or something along those lines. It's hard to do, but you get my point. You get my memo. But I mean, Brody Hanna and Joey McKinney, both good lap times. Joey McKinney practically by an entire tenth was slower than his initial first lap. So, and that's all because you're just riding around the bottom that entire first lap. And then if you're going to continue on to the second lap, you're doing the same thing, but you weren't getting enough momentum, enough speed like you were on your out lap coming to the green to take the first one.
Jump into the chats real quick here as qualifying is winding down. Josh Mayo on the chat saying good luck, Doug. Has get K2B Motorsports the W. Got a good chance here tonight. Want to go over too before we get this thing on to the grid. There's 5 trucks tonight going to the back of the field due to penalties from last week in Martinsville. TJ Bartel, Nick Goebel, Kyle Milliken, Tyler Brown, and Josh Mayu all going to the back tonight on the starting order. But this is Talladega. So if you already get a EOL penalty, this is the track you want to do it at because you can get yourself back to the front in a relatively quick fashion. We're seeing Tommy Schaefer here in the 29 going to the finish line. See what kind of lap time he posts there. It's going to put him P4 on the board there. It's a good time. Right when qualifying is ending with 2 seconds left in the session, it is over there. Last second there to get himself on the second row. But we're going to go back to the race starting order here. We're going to see everyone started for tonight's race. Brody Hanna is going to be starting P1. Joseph McKinney on his outside is going to be starting in second place here. Richie Coy is going to start in third. Tommy Schaefer is going to be in fourth. Kyle Millick in fifth. Bobby Terrell in sixth. Sylvain Jolly is going to start in seventh place. Tony Solari eighth. Ninth place, Michael Blackner. And to start off tonight's field, Nick Goebel in 10th.
Yeah, and then to round out your top 20, you got Steve Loomis in 11th, Colby Mice in 12th, 13th, Leonard Stang, 14th, Tyler Brown, 15th, Sherwood Williford, 16th, JP Burns, 17th, Josh O'Connor Sr., 18th is James Torrey in the number 6, 19th is the 88 of Colton Gum, and rounding out the top 20, the number 50, Stephen Hollingsworth.
21st, Lane Allen. 22nd, Douglas Hess. 23rd, Cody McKinney. 24th, Alan DeRocco. 25th, Maxwell Solsch. 26th, TJ Bartel. 27th, Rick Webb. 28th, Chad Curran. And 29th place, the last truck in tonight's field, Brian Hoskins. And this will be a 75-lap race. Looks like we got one stage break tonight coming at you at lap 25. So a third of the way through the race. These guys will come down pit road, service their trucks, and they have, the 50 laps after that to sort out things for tonight's race.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting race here tonight, Jeremy. You talk about 75 laps. These guys got to learn how to be patient, learn when to pass, when not to pass, learn when to give and take. We talk about that really at every single racetrack, but there's no better place to do that than Daytona, Talladega, and the newly reconfigured and repaved Atlanta Motor Speedway. Here tonight at Talladega, I'm still stuck from a few weeks ago back in Atlanta, but here tonight at Talladega, you want to make sure that you know who you're going to be drafting with. You want to make sure that the pusher's not pushing the pusher in front of them. So, like for example, if you're Brody Hanna, you don't want Kyle Milliken pushing Richie Coy into your back bumper because then all hell's going to break loose. You're going to have multiple guys going all over the place, sliding across each other's rear and front bumpers. It's going to create ultimately just absolute chaos. So these guys got to be patient. They got to do this for 75 laps. And, a lot of guys, I want to say around the lap 15 to lap 20 mark, you're going to see some guys probably start to get really impatient, want to start to make their moves up to the front, or even some guys might try to be heroes on lap 1 or 2. I hate to say it, but that's just restrictor plate racing, to say the least. But nonetheless, this should be a very good race. I expect Richie Coy to be really fast tonight. I expect Sylvain Jolly, like you said, to be very fast. A lot of guys here tonight, though, Jeremy, have a very large opportunity at winning when maybe they haven't had an opportunity to really win a race all season. This opens the door pretty wide for these guys here tonight.
And speaking of opening the door, there is one guy that we have not mentioned. It's because he's not here, and that's going to be your second place in the standings, Ryan Chapman, that 27 truck, not present this evening. So this is going to, really extend the points lead there for Richie Coy. Brody Hanna can make excellent ground to get at least into second place there, as he's 30 points behind at 27 of Chapman. So depending on this outcome of tonight's race, this is going to shake some things up for sure. Also, Josh Mayu is not present tonight. That's why he's in the chat saying good luck to Mr. Hess. So, Josh, whatever the incident is with you, hopefully we'll see you next week for sure. These guys are coming through turns 3 and 4 to get this thing going. You said a lot of patience tonight, and that's going to be the thing here at the FTSR. If you've seen Daytona and Atlanta, these guys give a lot of give and take early on in these races. They do it every single time. I don't expect anything different. But I do agree with you. The stage points are going to be key for some of these drivers to make the top 10, the top 5. So lap around 20, you probably will see some teams start to shift around, maybe do an early pit strategy. We're not too sure, but I expect some 2 to 3 wide racing potentially in the last few laps before the caution for the stage break. But we're about to go to green flag. As you see, our flagman, Mr. Patrick, is super early every single time with that flag. It's not officially green yet. And now the green flag does fly. 23 of Brody Hanna does lead these guys to the start. gets a great launch over the outside there, the 18 of Joseph McKinney, brings along his teammate 19 of Richie Coy as they go through turn 1.
Yeah, everybody double wide right now. You're going to see this a majority of the night. Whether we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. amount of restarts. This is how it's going to be. It's going to be like this every single restart. Nobody's going to fan out unless really somebody gets a really good push. But you see the momentum right there up on the outside lane. That's Tommy Schaefer. He's going to push the number 18 of Joey McKinney. Gets a little loose there down the back straight. These guys got to be very careful with pushing these trucks because due to last year with the truck updates here, especially with the super speedways, you cannot push nearly as good as you want to, and you can't hook up because you're just going to lift the rear tires of the guy up in front of you up off the ground, and it can ultimately create chaos here if it chooses to do so.
Yeah, on this iRacing platform, it almost feels like it's better to give a little bit of space between the bumper for the most part, especially in the corners. You don't want to bump there, but if you can get a good shove down the back stretch or even the short part of the front stretch, just enough to carry that speed, I think that's going to be key. The tandem isn't so strong here, so expect to see daylight between a lot of these bumpers all race long, especially early on. But the 18 of McKinney, Joseph, he's holding pretty strong up here on the top. I expect a lot of 2x2 racing. There's a lot of side draft with these trucks, so I don't expect them to fan out single file anytime soon.
Yeah, for sure, Jeremy. Side drafting is definitely going to be a key as we ride on board the roof cam of Tommy Schaefer heading towards the hood. You see Sylvain Jolly there on the inside. Those guys up on the bottom, they got to be really careful with riding on that inside lane. If they hit that yellow line, they could drift up very, very quickly and cause an accident ultimately. So these guys got to be very, very careful with how they push and how they work around lap traffic, and especially drivers in the draft.
I don't know about you, but I'm seeing early on the 08 of Sylvain Jolly is, I think, 2 times in a row coming through the front stretch. He has dipped his truck below the yellow line. He just did it again as well. So Sylvain doesn't look like he has the most comfortable truck underneath him early on. Probably has to utilize that pit stop on lap 25 to get that thing a little tightened up or maybe adjust the steering. I'm not sure what he's got to do, but right now just looking a little uncomfortable. But he is in third place. He's already got 4 spots since he started this race 3 laps ago.
Yeah, something just happened to the 29 right there in my ear. I don't know if the 29 possibly had a connection issue or maybe or something else like that, but he has fallen way back right now. Tommy Schaefer, the 29 machine, we were just riding on board with him a handful of laps ago, and you could see, Jeremy, how dismantled this pack is right here. And there he is right there, Tommy Schaefer, the number 29. He was running about 4th to 5th right there just a lap ago, and all of a sudden the field kind of went a little bit more spread out. The bottom lane kind of started to pull away. Don't really know what happened there to Tommy Schaefer, but it's not going to be race ending, obviously, because he still is in somewhat of a pack draft here, even though he's up on the outside by himself. But he's going to have a lot of work to do if he's going to want to try to get back towards the front where he was.
And you can tell he wants to do that. He had a lot of trucks he could have went single file with on the bottom, and he said, nope, I'm going to take this top lane and try to get what I lost. It definitely lost the connection for about a half a lap. Thankfully, it wasn't enough to drop him out of the server. But yeah, it did cause him to lose the draft because when you blink out, you don't have anyone to draft with. So you just drop back like a fly. It dropped him 21 spots from that 2 laps ago, and he's already recouped 2 spots there. But expect that 20 to be back up to the front. He's really good at these super speedways.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, we talked about it earlier on, is that anybody can really win here at Talladega and Daytona and the new Atlanta. So Tommy Schaefer very well probably, with this stage and everything like that, and if we do get any more cautions, you're more than likely going to see Tommy Schaefer back up here towards the front. I mean, he's already back to 22nd. He's not up in the lead pack right now, but as we ride on board with Joey McKinney right now, who's getting a push from, I believe, that is Tony Solari there in the number 11, the Richmond Cup winner from just a few weeks ago. He's doing a great job pushing Joey, giving him a little bit of room. But no doubt about it, Tommy Schaefer should be able to get back up there. But everybody else right now still double wide. They're trying to be patient here as we hit lap number 6, this time by under 1.
Still side by side, basically the entire field. I expect to see this throughout most of tonight's race. Joseph McKinney still holding strong though, but at 11 of Tony Solari, if you notice, he's one of 4 Fury Motorsports drivers. 1 and 2 on the bottom, those are his teammates. So does he dip down below if he can make gap between the 08 and the 19, or does he stay up top and ride with McKinney the entire time? Their strategy typically here is to ride in the back, pit early, and then they just, dominate after the first set of green flag pit stops. So I would expect that after stage break. We have not seen them do that at Talladega yet, and I've seen this from years past. These guys are really good at grouping up late in the run. And last year here on the final part of 2022, first and second place with the 19 and the 23.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, say the least, how this race does play out, whether it be green flag pit stops, whether it be a caution-filled race, whether it be dominated by really just 2 to 4 trucks and whatnot. I mean, there's so many outcomes that can come here at both Talladega, Daytona, and also Atlanta now. And just solely with Talladega tonight, this track is so wide. You have so much time to really think about and plan your moves ahead of time compared to, let's say, you would at Daytona and Talladega, where Daytona is smaller, tighter, and feels like you're going a lot faster. And Atlanta, obviously, being a mile and a half, you have absolutely no time whatsoever, even remotely, to think about what your next move is, what you're going to do, what your plan is. You kind of just got to do it. Talladega is kind of the same, but you have such a wide amount of room here on the racetrack. You can just see how wide this track is in the corners and stuff like that. You can go 3, 4 wide, and 5 definitely isn't going to work like you would say at the old California Speedway. But I mean, it's really just all about here at Talladega how you plan your moves, when you're going to do it, and where, because you feel like you're just a train going so slow around here, but you're really not. You're going at 200 miles an hour, but at the same time, you have so much time to think about your next move.
Yeah, I think out of the 3 super speedways, this is the track that you want to work with your teammates the most, because you can push the 3 wide issue and feel really comfortable doing it. At Daytona, it's more of like a tight situation. Might cause a wreck here. This track, you have plenty of space to make it happen. So, you could go, hey guys, I think we should go 3 wide toward the end of the race, or maybe for the stage break. No one has ran up to the 3rd lane yet tonight through 8 laps. So do they utilize that 3rd lane? There's a lot of side draft to the right-hand side of these trucks. So if you get enough guys to move up to the 3rd lane, you could pass some trucks for sure. Maybe not for the lead per se, but you get yourself from 15th to inside the top 10 to get some stage points. I think we'll see that later on this evening.
Yeah, and you definitely can use that outside lane, Jeremy. I'm not surprised you really haven't seen anybody do it yet. I mean, a lot of you guys are kind of all jockeying around, jostling for position right now. But, I mean, if you do get to that outside lane, you are right. I mean, if you were to side draft that right rear quarter panel on these trucks, it's a lot flatter, and also the room that you have between your left front fender and the truck's right rear quarter panel is so slim, and because of that amount of room, you can pack so much air on the spoiler towards the right rear of the truck and cause it to drag back, let's say, compared to the left rear, where the left rear is buffed out a little bit more than the right rear due to the truck's dynamics and whatnot, and it's not going to pull them back necessarily as much. So that's why the outside lane really here gets such a run off the corners. You see right there, there's the 42 of Kyle Milliken. You could see the run that these guys get off turns 2 and off turns 4 and slightly through the tri-oval, but the inside lane just predominantly is dominant on the bottom side of the racetrack, heading around the corners. Look at them right now as we ride on board with Michael Blackner in the number 22. Inside's rolling. Now watch this top side right here. See the amount of time that they make up right there just because of the draft and just because of the way they're lined up. That outside lane can roll a lot better, but if they get some guys going up to the top, trying to make it 3 wide, I guarantee you those guys are going to be up at the front in no time, as long as they have help behind them.
Cody McKinney, the strongest run up on the top yet. He almost beat Brody Handel to the line by 9 1/1000ths of a second. Brody kept that lead. We saw the 18 maybe side by side with the 19 for the most part, but we're still on board with the 22 Michael Blackner. You see that lead there is just so tight as we're back to the aerial view going through turns 3 here. Looks like Brody got a great launch with his teammate 19 pushing him deep into the corner here. Allows him to cause that gap, but temporarily the outside looks like they found a little extra speed out there.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, everybody right now is just kind of trying to find some sort of speed, any sort of advantage that they can right now, and everybody really is just kind of all tightened up together. You really can't go anywhere. Look at, oh my goodness, Sylvain Jolly right there nearly lost it going through the tri-oval. That could have been huge, but good save by Sylvain Jolly right there in that number 08 machine. But everybody right now, though, Jeremy, besides us two, are always looking to try and make moves and to try to find ways where they can get around guys, because track position is key. Obviously, anything can happen, so you could be dead last in this race as long as everybody's bunched up together and have this entire field wreck in front of you. And you could somehow come out through this and win like James Busher did back in 2011 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race off turn 2012 at Daytona for the opener, and the top 10 guys wreck, and next thing you know, James Busher wins his first career race in the Nationwide Series because everybody wrecked in front of him. So, I mean, everybody's really trying to find every piece of real estate that they can get to try to make it towards the front right now, but really just the key is to be patient. Don't put yourself in boxes you don't need to be in, and don't put anybody else in a spot where they shouldn't be either, that could cause others around them to have issues as well.
I'm going to applaud you for pulling a stat book page that I don't think anyone had in front of them, talking about a 2012 nationwide race at a super speedway and remembering what happened. Not too many people that can recall that information, so props to you on that one. But Joseph McKinney, once again, 9/1000ths that lap. He is trying so hard to get a lap led here. That's just Brody and Richie Coy, Two Fury Motorsports, running 1-2 or 1-3 rather that lap. Just so strong here. Every single time that this team comes to Super Speedway, automatically they're in my top picks. Like, they just work so well. The setup provided by a mixture of the team, especially Tony Solari, they know how to get the job done here each and every time, and they always find the right strategy. That's half the battle here, is running this track, running it clean, avoiding the wrecks, and then the other part of that puzzle is to play the strategy. When to pit? Do you pit with the big group of trucks? Do you pit by yourself and just hope that the other guys mess up? You know, they always play it the right way, and I've seen them do it both ways and still end up on top. So I'd like to give a shout out to one of our sponsors while we're sitting here on lap number 14, watch them go through turn number 3. We're going to give a shout out to our partner, iRacing iFlag, the iRacing standard for open source race marshalling light board system. All that means it's a 64 LED system that sits on your desk that displays up to 30 different iRacing notifications like car high, car low, gives you the blue flag, the meatball, tells you if you sped, any type of penalty. This system has got you covered. It's really bright, customizable. You can change the brightness. It really keeps your focus on the track because the thing is so bright and it sits next to you. You don't have to look to the side. You can just see the color and you can go, boom, okay, I know what's going on the track. So if you're interested in picking up something like that to really complete your sim rig, head over to iracingiflag.com and use the Super Nerd code that we always advertise. You see it there on your screen in green. It's going to save you 15% off anything you do purchase from iRacing iFlag. And they put 70% of what they profit back into the community through sponsorships and drivers and charity events and more. So they're not just taking your money and running with it. They're actively always in the community trying to give back. So it's a great product with a great company. It's iracingiflag.com. And we're currently on lap number 16 now of scheduled 75. We are 10 laps to go left before we stay stage break. And I think, Jason, right now, this is a great time to turn up the tunes as we're going to let you listen in to all the trucks here at Talladega. full screen coverage here as we got about 7 laps left to go, or 6.5, before these guys hit the first and only stage break tonight. We're finally getting some 3-wide action there. You see about mid-pack there. Looks like the 28 of McKinney, the 33 of Williford. It looks like the 20 of Douglas Hess. These guys are 3 wide. And Jason, that you called it, you saw, you predicted some mix-up in the field coming close to the stage break, and we're starting to see it here.
Yeah, and look at everybody now. Look at the number 99 machine of JP Burns. He was deciding if he wanted to jump up in front of Alan Duranko. They're heading through the tri-oval right there, and now he's finally going to do it. Question is now will the truck in front of him jump up right there? Not going to be enough. It looks like that is, I believe, the number 5 machine of Colby Mice. He's not going to jump up. They're trying the best they can, though, to get all the momentum. The 28 of Cody McKinney went from the top down to the middle of the racetrack. Nowhere to go. Look at this move out of the middle of the pack. Kyle Milliken. They're in the number 42 machine. I don't know if he got shuffled out or if he tried to go to the outside, had no help, but he is getting shuffled back like if he was a rock getting blown off by a freight train right here. Best analogy I can give, but there's still double wide at the front of the field, still 3 wide there in the middle of the pack. This could cause an issue as you see the 28 there. Almost got up into the side of Milliken. They're heading through the tri-oval as they hit lap 21 into 1.
You're starting to see these guys thinking stage points right now as the third lane finally started kicking in, and it looked like people were just confused. They're like, okay, I see one truck up there, maybe I'll jump up, and they started leapfrogging. So you saw, instead of the guys from the back go up to the top and follow the leader, it was the guys who are like, you know what, I'm gonna set the lead. And then as another guy pulls up, it kept going more and more up toward the front, and then Kyle Milliken was the last one there. Was not sure if he got pulled out of the pack or whatnot, but he is currently leading the charge. JP Burns right behind him in the 99. Alan Duranko in the number 2. Loves to run the top side of the track if he can. He's running up there on the top. We got 4 trucks currently in that third groove. The draft, they just need a few more, and they need to tuck in a little closer, and I think they have something here as they have 4 to go before stage break.
Yeah, interesting note right here. Stephen Hollingsworth just came into the pits, I believe, that time around, or dropped all the way to the back, and I believe he hit pit road. It's not saying that he's on pit road on my Apex Racing TV live timing, but I believe he is in the pit road. Yes, he is in pit road right now. So interesting to see that number 50 machine in pit road right now. Going to take 4 tires right there and some Sunoco Racing fuel. He's off and away. He's going to be at risk of going a lap down, but maybe, hopefully he won't, because if so, he's going to be the one who looks the smartest, because there's going to be all those front runners who come into the pits, but you can see him right now off turn number 4, and Stephen Hollingsworth is going to have to be on the binders here as these guys continue to go 3, almost 4 wide through the tri-oval this time by. Lap 23 is now up on the Nerd TV iRacing board, and here comes that number 42 machine of Kyle Milliken. He's got help from JP Burns up on the outside, but it's all Brody Hanna up at the front of the field with Richie Coy behind him off too.
3 laps to go left in this stage. Douglas Hess in that 20 all over the place in the center of the track. About 4 trucks back there behind the number 5. Douglas Hess, good thing they're giving him lots of space, because I've seen a lot of left and right movement of that truck, the 59 right now following him as well, that being Joshua O'Connor. But the top side is starting to close in just a little bit. They just need a couple more guys to make that move, but Kyle Milliken's doing a great job holding the side draft right now, passing Colby Mice in the 5, or at least getting really close to it, slowly approaching these guys inside the top 3. See if they can try to maximize their points here as pit load is officially closed. 2 laps to go on this stage.
I tell you what right now, Jeremy, if the 28 or anybody in that... Oh, there we go, 1 truck in the wall. That's the number 2, Alan Duranko, hard up into the wall. We have a Roasted Gems coffee. 1 car hard up into the wall, into the back of the field. That is a car with the number 2. That might have been Nick Goebel there in the 25. Not too sure. He went hard up into the outside wall. That was Nick Goebel in the 25 machine. All the right side damage, and it all unfolded heading into turn 1, Jeremy.
Yeah, it looks like Alan Duranko set the stage there, got put into the wall, got a little bit of wall glue, and it looks like it was maybe the 89 of Maxwell Solch there in the Pudgy's Pizza truck. Had a late reaction, bumped the number 2, came down in front of Tony 9, Tommy Schaefer, spins out, and then destroys Nick Goebel, which you're seeing right now. Just obliterates the outside wall there between turn 1 and turn 2. That truck has engine damage. He will be done for the night. That wreck could have been a lot worse, but it did take out a couple of solid trucks here tonight. And this should probably go into the stage break.
Yeah, it definitely should go into the stage break here. And you look at Tommy Schaefer. Wonder if we could back it up just a little bit right here. I don't know if they were checking up and if the 89 possibly maybe just so happened to lay off a little bit and Tommy Schaefer didn't know it that much. As we rewind it right here, yeah, perfect. Right from this angle, you're going to see the 2 truck. He's going to get up into the wall right there. That's Alan Duranko right there, the baby blue, white, and black truck. He makes contact with one truck. Hard up into the outside wall. The 89 of Solsch, he gets up into the left rear, and then unfortunate circumstances, Tommy Schaefer nowhere to go. So far, it looks like, Jeremy, Tommy Schaefer might just be our hard luck driver of the night. But watch this. Tommy Schaefer does a great job at avoiding Nick Goebel right there. Gets a little bit of damage, but it could have been a lot worse for him. He's going to continue on, but unfortunate circumstances there for the number 25. Just an innocent victim of a racing product there in the middle of 1 and 2.
Nick Goebel does exit the server tonight, so he'll be credited with last place, 29th place overall. That baby blue rear end that you saw that made the contact with Duranko, that was the 20 of Douglas Hess, who I reported last lap, just all over the place on the track. He'd been like that way for several laps, and these guys gave him tons of space, but they got to turn 1, and the 20 just could not keep him in the middle of the track. Came up into the 2's door panel just enough to send him to the wall to cause that wreck for the first time this evening, and it looks like everyone is on pit road. That does end stage break. Looks like, if we go back lap, I think that might have been Brian Hoskins, potentially. I'm not sure who got the stage win there, but needless to say, these guys did not want to see that. They had the stage break coming up, and with a lap or two, I'm sure there's someone wanting to make an extra pass to get themselves into the stage point contention.
Yeah, for sure. But look at this right now, Jeremy. That played a huge benefactor for Stephen Hollingsworth. He's going to restart here about 3rd or 4th. And mind the fact, he just pitted a lap or 2 ago here, but he's actually letting everybody by. I wonder if maybe he went a lap down. I don't believe so, but he's letting drivers pass him who are just coming off pit road. But if that's not the case, I mean, Stephen Hollingsworth right here, he put himself right in contention, went from about mid-pack to somewhat front pack, all the way to the back from pit road, and here he is, stayed out. He's pretty much full on fuel besides those 2 laps he ran, and here he is right now finding himself pretty much inside the top 10, but I'm not too sure. It looks like he's dropping back just a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually Brody Hanna. I'm going to correct myself. Brody Hanna does end up getting the stage win. That's the first driver to hit 3 stage wins this season. So he's going to maximize that points effort here. He's right now 3rd place in points, 41 back of his teammate Richie Coy. So he needs every point possible, and that's a great way to do it, to stay in front of your teammate who is leading the way in the points. Eventually, I think he's going to have to break away from his teammate, but that's going to be time to tell here as we got just under 50 laps to go. And yeah, the 50 Hollingsworth, he did pit, and then the caution happened. I thought, like you were saying, it was going to be a great strategy call, but currently sitting, was it about 7th or 8th right now, 8th on the boards, has a couple more guys come down pit road. So interesting to see why the 50 had let some people by, because I thought he was going to be in great contention to restart this race in first.
Yeah, he should have been first right there. I don't understand why he's going to restart 6th here. A couple other drivers, though, coming down pit road. You see Bobby Terrell, James Torrey, Maxwell Solsch, Rick Webb. A few other drivers coming into the pits this time by as they rolled down that very long and wide front stretch pit road there towards the infield. But now this puts Steven Allen up at the front of the field there in the number 14 machine, plus 20 from where he started. So overall, I guess strategy kind of worked out for him, though. But also mind the fact he has not pitted yet. So he will have to make a green flag stop at some point if this race does go caution-free. But if not, then it's going to play into his wheelhouse. He's going to have that caution. He's going to be able to make a pit stop. Everybody else should pit as well. But very strategies here for only a 75-lap race here tonight at Talladega.
Who's going to pit with him? You have to have a partner here. If you pit all by yourself, you're basically a sitting duck until you pray until a caution comes out at that point to help you out. So very interesting call here. Let's see how that plays for him as we get down toward the end of this race. But we got a half a lap left before we take the green flag. Lane Allen will start this race P1. stage winner, Brody Hand, the 23. First time we're going to see him on the top side. See how quickly he can get down to the bottom. And Sylvain Jolly, we saw him not holding the straightest of lines early in this race. I talked about maybe stage break. He can get that truck a little more comfortable. Let's see if he made the proper changes to get that job done.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, to say the least. And we're getting ready to come back to the green flag right now. I want to say one driver I'm putting an eye on for sure is going to be JP Burns. He's been one of those trucks who's been able to kind of make some moves a little bit right now. He's +8 from where he started. Obviously, that number 99 XI Batteries Ford F-150 throwback to Jeff Burton. Absolutely beautiful truck for sure, as Dustin's in my ear. He can't get enough of it. I also can't get enough of Sherwood Williford's scheme as well. Have that diecast of that 2001 Kevin Harvick Chevy Rock and Roll car. Absolutely beautiful scheme. Love the silver on it. Love the chrome tips to it, basically. There's a lot of great schemes here showing up at Talladega, but they're about to come into the Geico restart zone. It's going to be Stephen Allen and Brody Hanna front row, Jeremy.
Yep, here we go. As the green flag does fly, a little bit of a hiccup there by the 14. It stacked up the 08 for just a moment. You see the space on the bottom. On the top, they are super tight as they are quickly passing the 14 here. It's going to allow the two teammates of the 23 and the 19 to resume exactly where they were before the caution flew out. First and second place on the bottom. And I'm interested to see how the 50 can maintain himself here as he's found himself inside the top 5 after that late stage caution or pit stop there for him. So we're seeing the 18 of McKinney for the first time. He's going to drop himself to the back intentionally here. It looked like he had a pretty good truck to maintain up in the front. I wonder what this call is about.
Yeah, he could really just not want to get involved in anything, but look at that. He just jumped right up in front of Tommy Schaefer. Another close call for Schaefer here tonight, man. It's not looking too good here for Tommy Schaefer tonight. Tough breaks for him all around, being involved in a wreck, having an issue that first lap. Still don't really know what happened to him. Don't know if it was necessarily a connection issue through the iRacing service or his internet, or if it was simply just maybe he got into the wall and it was something on our end. But, I mean, nonetheless, the 29 has not seen the front since that initial time when he was dropping very, very quickly towards the back of the field. But here we go. Up at the front, still double wide, just like they were within the last lap to two. Pretty much a restart, but at this time, it's 200 miles an hour. You might as well give everybody about 3 to 5 lanes here, because this is like going 200 miles an hour down I-95 in Virginia right now. But here we are in Alabama, flying around turns 3 and 4, and Brody Hanna and Stephen Allen are leading that line of traffic right behind them. You see Stephen Hollingsworth, he's pushing that number 14 of Allen through the tri-oval, and JP Burns right behind him, following in tow. But look at that on the bottom. Brody Hanna, Richie Coy, they do not want to unhook from one another, because those two are practically best buds here as they work their way into one.
The 50 of Hollingsworth just massively pushes the 14 lane Allen to the lead that lap there. The 14 had the option to even cut down in front of the 23 to secure the inside position, but elects not to do that, knowing how well the 50 is going to push. You just got to watch out for the temps there. If you push a guy too hard, too long, you're gonna overheat the engine. So you don't want to do that, because it's going to cause a lot of space separation between the truck that you're pushing and really slow down the line that you're trying to control. So the best way to do it is to kind of give that gap between you and the guy you're pushing. A very consistent pace there will get the job done. Just utilize the side draft there to make that happen for you. But it looks like the 08 has kind of stabilized his truck. It looks a little more comfortable on this run. Looking at Douglas Hess and the 20 machine, it looks like he's pretty comfortable overall right now, but I know late in the run, that's where we saw his truck go a lot of left and right motion, so only time will tell on that as we are now 30 laps into this race.
Yeah, everybody's still double wide right now. You're seeing a lot of the same guys up towards the front, but I tell you what, man, you give about 1 or 2 more pushes to Stephen Allen, he's going around. Stephen Hollingsworth has been all over the back bumper of that number 14 Bass Pro Shops machine these last few laps. You saw it out of 2 when we were riding with the 50 of Hollingsworth just a lap ago as they look to put Maxwell Solch a lap down there off turn 4. You see the black, white, and orange number 89 Chevy falling all the way to the back on the apron. Oh, little contact there. Kyle Milliken and JP Burns, and Kyle's going to go right through the middle. Oh, my goodness, that's 2 spots he picked up. He's shot out of there like a cannonball. And here he comes. He's going to bring the 20 of Douglas out. Oh, there goes the 08 machine around in front of the field. He's going to bring the 11 of Solari with him. Big crash in 1 and 2. And the caution's out. 1 up and over. Barrel rolling down the Alabama gang. Super stretch off turn number 2. That looked to be the 28 of Cody McKinney. And the caution's out for the second time here tonight at Talladega.
Man, oh man, that's about 9 or 10 trucks in this one. As Sylvain Jolly just talked about how his truck was feeling comfortable, but he did not hold the bottom at all going through turn 1. I don't think Douglas S. expected the bottom truck to be so high up in the corner, as a lot of trucks do just paint the yellow line there at the bottom. Made the contact. 11 of Tony Solari, just a victim of that one. I don't think he got too much of it. I know he got door checked, but it sent 28 Cody McKinney around. It collected the 17 of Hollingsworth, looks like the 59 of O'Connor, the 18 of Joseph McKinney, who had just dropped to the rear of the field after running up front all race long, and then finds himself in a wreck. TJ Bartell, another truck. A few others there I haven't figured out as well. Looks like the 5 of Coldy Mice, the 00 Tyler Brown. Just huge wreck here by one incident of a guy not running at the very bottom of the track.
Yeah, and the 59 right there was Joshua O'Connor Sr. there off turn number 2, who was the one who went up and over, landed back on all 4 wheels there off 2. Major wreck right here. You see Bobby Terrell backing it down big time, doing a great job to avoid this entire mess here. Almost gets clipped by the 28. Oh my goodness! He had to practically come to a stop there to avoid the 00 from getting back turned around. That's Tyler Brown in that number 00 Chevy Silverado. Great job by Bobby Terrell, who's lost 12 spots from the start of where he was, and he's all the way at the back. There's James Torrey slowing it down big time there through the back of the field. A lot of these guys behind the wreck did a great job at slowing up here, Jeremy.
29 and Tommy Schaefer threads the needle 3 wide as he's avoiding Joshua O'Connor, was the guy who went on his lid there in the 59. Great job avoiding the 5 and the 59 at the same time. Yeah, Colton Gum also on the 88. He was also involved. So I think about 10 trucks were involved in this incident here as we're going to take another view of it here on the Nerd TV replay on Tommy Schaefer's on board. You see the wreck happen, and he's slowing up, but he's not slowing up a great deal. Sees the 59 and just cuts it close between the 5. Didn't look like it so much on the replay, but in real time there for a driver, that's really scary to see that kind of unfolding, because you don't know how the flipping truck's gonna, you don't know where it's gonna go, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that thing, once the second it gets up in the air, there's no telling where that truck's gonna go. And you see Tommy Schaefer here, another close call. Man, he's had to deal with so much tonight. We might as well just give him the gloves now. But I mean, what a job by him and that number 29 machine to get through there, not get involved. Almost clipped O'Connor there in the center, or not in the center, but off on the exit of 2. But that was our first real caution tonight, Jeremy. Now my question to you is, do you think we're going to see more of this here tonight? Or do you think these guys maybe learned at least one lesson and they might save it for the end of the race?
Well, it really surprised me that they were running a little aggressive early on a 50-lap stint of this race. Usually you would see that like you did toward the end of the stage, where you're trying to get all your positions in the final few moments of the event. To see them come out of the gate 3 laps in after taking the green flag and having an incident like that, I think it's really going to give some guys a reality check. You definitely just want to, take your time. You have so much time left. We're only on lap 34 of 75, so we got 42 laps to go. Plenty of time to get the job done. I think there's at least still 1 green flag pit stop to be had before this thing's all said and done. So, yeah, I think this is going to change the landscape. We're going to see a lot more give and take, a lot more give, especially early on. And I think this is going to change the race quite a bit, as you see right there, the 42. He actually gave a little power move to the 99 of J.P. Burns. I'm glad he didn't get up into the wall there. Really surprised to see the 42 make an aggressive move to the middle of the track. He had a lot of speed, though. He wanted to get to the front and made some great passes, but it took the 99 a little bit of a pain off the side of the truck there to get that job done.
Yeah, I mean, everybody did a really good job there of avoiding the wreck and everything like that, and it's unfortunate to see a wreck here. We're pretty much almost about halfway through this race, you know, and I mean, there was a lot of trucks there that probably had contention that were going to be really, really fast right there. I mean, Joseph McKinney right now, 2 laps down. Colby Mice 1 lap down. You know, I don't know, man. This is just typical Talladega. What can I say? You know, and you see all these drivers right now on pit road. There's the number 9 machine, Leonard Stang. There's Maxwell Solsch, who's had a very, 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 very tough last few weeks here in the FTSR division. So very unfortunate circumstances for him, but also other drivers as well. No doubt about it. There's the number 5 machine of Colby Mice rolling into his pit box now. Man, though, Jeremy, I don't know, man. This looks like it's going to get real dicey really quickly, and these guys still have to be patient because, remember, they still have multiple laps to go here.
Yeah, over half the event left, 41 to go at the line. We're on lap 35, so we're like not even 50% away or completed with this race. So I think it's going to really tame down. We're still going to see a lot of 2x2, but we're going to see it exactly how that we saw it on the first stage, you know, through the first 15 laps or so, where there was a lot of space in between the 2 trucks. They're not going to see as much side drafting per se amongst the leaders anyways. Maybe some guys in the back who are trying to get back to the front after the pit stop, maybe they have some ground to gain there to feel comfortable with how they're running. But there's also a lot of damaged trucks too. So some of these guys' partners are not available anymore, and if they're still on the track, are they 100%? We don't know. I think the 99 is going to be okay with the light damage he had on the side. I see Alan DeRonco was involved in that wreck. He had a lot of rear end damage, so he might be okay depending on how that spoiler is setting in the air. Time will tell here, and we're on board Tony Solari. He's one of those guys that was affected by that wreck. Let's see how he can get back up to his teammates. But the green flag is about to fly here for the 3rd time this evening. Green flag is out. 14 lane Allen's going to restart this thing first, just like he did last restart. But Brody with a great start here with his 19 teammate Richie Coy to the top. Will they get to the bottom like they did last start? I don't think that's going to be the case this time. So this is the first time we're going to see these two up on the top half of the track.
Yeah, and the 14 got a great push right there for the 50 of Stephen Hollingsworth. But here he goes. He's going to stall out just a little bit. Going to give the advantage there to Brody Hanna off turn number 2 there. You could just see him right there up on the outside of the racetrack trying to fly by Stephen Allen there in the number 14 machine. Richie Coy has not left that 23's back bumper. If I were these drivers around the 23 and the 19, I'd keep this in mind. If those two are hooked up together towards the end of the race, try to get them separated as much as possible because they have been so strong here tonight.
Make a quick mention that Joshua O'Connor, the guy who went on his lid earlier in that wreck, he did exit out of the service, so he will be finishing in the back half of the field here due to the unfortunate wreck. But side by side, still with the race leaders. I don't think the 23 and the 19 are going to give this one up. I think they're going to be alongside the 14 and the 50 the entire time until they get these guys cleared. They have worked together for so long, been on the same team really since this league had started over 15 plus years ago. So with the amount of experience these two have running with each other, only time will tell before they get back to the bottom. As you see, the 23 is technically clear for a split second there. Had a great run, but the 19 had to give it up. He had to cool off the engine a little bit, allowed the 14 and the 50 to zoom past him momentarily. But this field looks a lot more broken up before the wreck, as it's got a lot of guys damaged. Really, the top 10 are kind of starting to space out, and then Tony Solari there in the 11, just trying to hold on here.
Yeah, everybody's just still double wide right now as we hit lap 38, but that 14 continues over and over again, Jeremy, to just be very, very squirrely, especially down the straightaways and stuff like that. He's been doing a great job of holding it down, but look at him right there. Gets a little bit tight off turn number 2. Look at the run that the 23 and the 19 get. Will they clear him down the back straight? They're clear right now. And the 50 is going to ditch the 14. They're 3 wide going into turn number 3. Kyle Milliken's going to follow Hollingsworth through the middle, back down to the bottom. And Stephen Allen's going to slap back in line right behind the 22 of Blackner up on the outside. Here's that head off turn number 4. Wow, that was close.
Never ceases to amaze me the luck that sometimes that these two guys right here on your camera can get. By strategy of not their own, the 50 of Hollingsworth tries to go to the inside of the 14 off of turn 2. And that just all says or seals it up for these two guys to pass them, go to the bottom, and now the best two trucks are in the best position on the track. First and second on the bottom, respectively. But Stephen Hollingsworth made that move on the 14, and now he's up to the top. This is going to work out great for him as he's got help from Michael Blackner, as we might see the 50 lead for the first time tonight.
Yeah, Blackner's been doing a great job working his way up towards the front. He's been up on the front pretty much all day long so far, +6 from where he started. So you already know he's been up in that top 10 primarily all night long. Obviously, Stephen Allen being shuffled back all the way right now, currently to the 6th position. Might go back to 7th. JP Burns as well is up there, +11 from where he started. He's doing a good job. And also Kyle Milliken, the 42 machine. He's been up there all night. It's still anybody's race here as they hit lap 40.
Almost halfway done with this race. We're just a few laps away. I think right now we're going to kick it to our first picture-in-picture commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be back with you guys after a few messages.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back to full screen coverage here of the Martin Sports Truck Series here at the simulated Talladega Superspeedway. And right now, the image looks exactly the same as we went to commercial break. Brody and Richie hanging on tight at the bottom half of the track. Stephen Hollingsworth and Michael Blackner, they're in the 50 and 22. They are still on the top here as they have basically locked down these top 2 rows.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job so far, Jeremy. I mean, those two have not left the top 5 pretty much all night long. You're seeing Brody Hanna and Richie Coy right now still running the bottom side. Everybody from where we left them at commercial is still pretty much the same right now. But I tell you what, though, in these next probably 10 laps, you're going to start seeing the dial go up on the oven here, and it's going to start getting really hot in here. Pretty much, and you're riding on board with Alan Duranko. I know for a fact he's probably a driver who wants to get up towards the front, made some contact with the wall just a handful of laps ago, and here he is already back inside the top 10 right now, so he's doing a good job. Also, Sylvain John in the 08 machine was turned around in that last big one, all the way back up to 12th right now. And our Tommy Schaefer, who so far, in my opinion, has had the toughest break all night long. He's been involved in almost so much stuff here tonight. He finds himself right now in 14, so he's working his way back up towards the front as well. But he still has not been able to reach that top 10 right now, as he currently resides in the 14th spot. But everybody right now still double wide up towards the front for those first 6 rows, and everybody just trying to be patient right here.
Thank you for putting Nelly in my head for saying it's hot in here. I can't get rid of that now. Hopefully time will tell on that one. But yeah, still 2 by 2 by 2 through the top 10. A little bit of separation. 10th on back. Really 10th on back here. And much smaller field than what we had. That last caution really took a lot of trucks out of contention. We saw Colby Mice, too much damage from that wreck. He had to back out. Colton Gum actually dropped out due to a packet loss issue, so maybe he'll come back in. Won't be in any contention for the race lead or win, but at least try to gather as many points as he can, because I don't think we've seen the last wreck here. It is Talladega, and it quickly goes from 2 to 3 wide, and things get hairy real quick. Top lane here, a little stacked up. The 14 really trying to push the issue with the 22 and the 50. Trying to get that 50 of Hollingsworth to lead a lap here. But right now, the 23-19 and the 99 of JP Burns running really strong on the bottom.
Yeah, the 14 machine right there almost turned the 22 pretty much just about a half a lap ago right now. But everybody up towards the front right now, those first 3 rows, they're starting to jockey around right now, bouncing around, getting loose. That 50th Hollingsworth, he's doing a great job here tonight. And also just want to point out the fact, too, that 14 machine of Stephen Allen obviously still has not yet pitted. So I wonder when he's going to have to pit with this track being so long and so wide and big and everything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see when he makes that pit stop, because no doubt about it, I believe that Stephen Allen is going to have to pit. But he's almost made some contact with a few drivers, almost turned the 22 of Blackner just about a half a lap ago. But he's been doing a great job just maintaining in line regardless. No tires, no fuel in that truck. Just running it just as he started it here at Talladega as they work their way through the tri-oval this time by to hit lap 49.
Yeah, guaranteed he has to make a pit stop. Just at what time and who does he bring with? That's my big question, because he's got a dominant truck here. He's running inside the top 5, top 6, doing an excellent job holding on. So I think he can keep that track position, but he's going to need that help. Who's going to help him stay up here, or else he's going to fall back. Right now, we still have 21 trucks on the lead lap, a couple of which are about to fall out, which is Rick Webb and Maxwell Solsch. I don't know if they have just too much damage or they just had a bad luck stint there to drop him back 33 seconds behind the race leader. But that's a lot of positions to potentially lose if you pit all by yourself. So you're going to need somebody to help you. And right now, coming off of turn 4, it looked like 23 and 19 had a great launch through 3 and 4, but the 50 real quick to bring it back side by side with the 23. And let's see if this time the 50 can get the lead here. Looks like at the line he will. A lead change finally, at least temporarily. Oh, and the 50 got enough of a run there, Jason, to clear the 23. So now this is going to change the dynamic here on the bottom.
You know, I want to say that was probably the right move, because he kind of separated them in a sense to a degree. Yes, it didn't separate them with being in between one another, but now he's that truck out front. And look at him, there he goes, the 50 of Hollingsworth off the bumper of Brody Hanna. No caution, hard to the inside, retaining wall there on the back straightaway. He keeps it straight. Wow, cannot believe that happened. I don't know if maybe Brody Hanna just didn't lift enough. I don't know if he was getting a push from the number 19, but Stephen Hollingsworth takes a really bad break down the Alabama gang super stretch here off too.
Yeah, it kind of played into what you were saying there in the pre-races. If you push the guy too hard or too much, it does lift the tires up off the ground. And we know if you go too far left or too far right on the bumper of these trucks, when you do make that push, it will send you around. These bumpers are not perfectly square, right? There's some little curvature to it. So when you push really hard, right here's the contact, right? So the left rear corner of the 50s bumper connected at the very center part of the bumper of Brody Hanna, and there's just too much curvature there. So it hooks them with a little bit of bumper grab and sends them around. We're going to go in slow motion here. Look how far to the left where the contact is. Right there, square to the bumper on Brody, far left corner of Stephen Hollingsworth. And hell of a job here by Stephen to not slam the inside wall. He only had just light left rear contact made to that wall. So if he can get a caution, he can get that thing repaired and still be A-okay.
Yeah, he should be able to be all right, but he's going to need a caution to say the least here, Jeremy. I mean, you could just see that right rear quarter panel right there. It is struggling a little bit right now. I mean, he's got some scrapage on it, and that right rear fender there, or sorry, excuse me, quarter panel there, along with the bumper is jacked up just a little bit right now, so he is going to need a caution, but with 24 laps to go, he might just get it with the way that some of these guys have been running up towards the front. But Brody Hanna, Richie Coy back up towards the front of the field now again.
You got to think, too, that was like basically the first time we saw anyone in front of the 23. So he's ran this race 50 laps without having to worry about touching anyone's bumper. And then all of a sudden, one guy pulls in front. Brody's not been in this situation since the drop of the green flag. So maybe just a little bit of, unaware of how close the bumper was for just a split second will do that. He hasn't had a lift. He's been full throttle for 50 laps. So maybe that played a little bit of a factor into that contact as well, but definitely can't make that contact severely to the left or right-hand side of these bumpers. But the 22 of Blackner gets a great run with the 14 of Lane Allen. Almost clears the 23. He could have been the next guy to challenge Fury Motorsports here, but just cannot get it through turn 3 as they're back to being side by side, exiting 4.
Yeah, and Fury Motorsports been doing a great job here tonight. At 23 and 19, they have not left each other's sides at all. The two teammates are still nose to tail right now through the tri-oval. You see the 14 of Allen jumping down to the bottom. He's going to leave Blackner out to dry, and he'll drift all the way back to Kyle Milliken, who will stack up that top lane. Only about 5 or 6 trucks, and here comes Milliken to the outside. He'll leave Blackner out to dry, and he's got help from Alan Duranko, who was in the wall just a handful of laps ago. JP Burns, oh no, we got contact in the back. There we go, 2 trucks slamming into the wall. The 17 there of Steve Loomis into the wall with another truck as well. I believe that might have been Michael Blackner there in the 22 machine. But so far, Jeremy, they save it as they continue on into turn 3.
It was Michael Blackner for sure. And Kyle Milliken, aggressive on the move, not in a bad way. He went to the top lane with Duranko, which he ran up there previously on stage 1, made it work. But the 22 of Blackner just misjudged it. He went too far up on the exit of the corner, hit the 42, came down the track, and just took the 17 of Steve Loomis with him. 22 suffered basically no damage, but Steve Loomis slams the inside safer barrier there, and I think that truck is all but toast. Super unfortunate there, but Michael Blackner, another really strong truck, now is praying for a caution here, essentially, to get back in this running order. But temporarily, this is going to really limit any type of momentum the top half had. But, seeing the 42 leading this charge with the 99, I think just in a few laps, this might be some of the best pressure the 23 and the 19 has had in consecutive laps here, because that Kyle Milliken, if he gets to the front, I think this is going to be a good pick for tonight.
Yeah, Kyle Milliken's been doing a great job all night long there up at the front, along with JP Burns. I think those are probably the 2 guys you really got to look out for along with Douglas Heston, the number 20 machine. He's been doing an absolutely fantastic job. But you see some guys, though, coming out of pit road right now. It's going to cause a little bit of an issue. They're going to have to get single file here. They're going to have to find a way to get back up towards the front again.
Temporarily right now, looks like Kyle Milliken is going to drop back. Well, I say drop back. He did not want to be behind the 20 Douglas Hess, so he goes to the top, going to make it 3 wide again. 42. Oh, and the 20 almost put a block on him. Hits the bumper of the 42. They keep it going straight, but it's going to ruin any run that the 42 was going to make there on the top of Hess. Let's see if he tries the same thing. And actually, here comes green flag pit stops.
Everybody coming down pit road, trying to not speed. The 99 almost spins out, coming to pit road, gets it woed up enough. And here we go. Brody Hanna, Richie Coy, Burns, Allen, Williford, Jolly, Milliken, Terrell, McKinney, Brown, and others down pit road. It looks like traffic getting jammed up on I-95 going southbound at 6 o'clock in the morning on a workday. And Sherwood Williford misses his pit stall, backs it up into the wall, and really tough break for the number 33 Silverado. But everybody right now looks like they're just taking fuel only. Williford still trying to get that thing back into his stall. He'll take tires, it looks like, but everybody out and away here off pit road, Jeremy.
That's huge. The 33 took at least 10 seconds to find his pit crew correctly. So he's going to go over a half a lap down, I imagine, after he exits the pit stall. And then if he doesn't have any partner, which I don't think so, it's going to really hurt his chances. The 99, JP Burns, you commented, he almost spun out, did an excellent job to keep that thing going straight. I wanted to make a mention, too, that past couple weeks since the 3 pit stall rule where you can't drive through more than 3 stalls, that's affected a lot of people in the penalty system so far since that was applied. So I saw a lot of guys making late entries into their stall. So it looks like all clean, at least on that initial stop there. But that helps the Lane Allen situation. We commented about who's going to run with him. He finally came down pit road with everybody who's essentially splitting this stage in half. And so he's got some luck on his side, and now he can contend for this racial lead.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that too soon. I believe he might have had a penalty here coming down to pit road now, this time by a few other drivers, I believe, also as well, possibly with issues. And the 14 is going to take tires here. Oh my goodness. Interesting to see the 14 right there. Believe that was a penalty for sure. He'll take 4 tires, a little bit of fuel. He's out and away, but look at Tony Solari. He's the only one right now out towards the front of the field. Last pit on lap 33. He's going to have to pit sometime soon. For Brody Hanna, Richie Coy, they're hooked back up, I believe, right now with Kyle Milliken and Sylvain Jolly, Douglas Hess, and others right now. They're going to try to run down the number 11 of Solari, but nonetheless, he's got to be pitting pretty soon.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate for Lane Allen to have that penalty. Such a strong truck. He had a great chance for at least the top 5, but he's not going to do it at this time. But we got just Tony Solari left to come down pit road as he's passing the number 7 right now, Brian Hoskins. When does he come down? He's lonesome right now out there. Not coming down this time. So this is going to hurt the 11 a lot because only 1 truck versus a massive field that the rest of the leaders have right now. It's going to drop back quite a bit. But the top 4 are separated at the moment. Brody, the 23, the 19 of Richie Coy, the 42 now of Kyle Milliken. This is going to be his best chance to compete, and he has behind him the 08 of Sylvain Jolly. I think this is going to give the 23-19 an excellent shot at producing a great finish here this evening.
If you want my opinion right now, I think the 42 should drop back with the 08 machine. They should fall all the way back to all those guys right there, and I think they could probably make the run there on Brody Hanna and Richie Coy. But you see right there to the top of the racetrack, Douglas Hess, Bobby Terrell, they want around Jolly as quick as possible. They're coming like a freight train right now, as if somebody put on the brakes in front of them. And they also got Tyler Brown, one of the guys who caught a little bit of issues last week at Martinsville. And here he comes. He's hung out to dry on the outside of the racetrack as Terrell and Hess fall back in line. The 00 finally slats back up on in front of Jolly's front bumper there off the corner. But here we go. Here comes Hess to the outside of the racetrack, trying to look for the lead with Terrell, Brown, and Jolly here as they work their way through the trial, this time by 14 laps to go in Alabama.
A2B Motorsports truck Douglas has looks like he's got that truck ready to go for this finish here as he is leading the number 4 Bobby Terrell, who is the 4th and newest driver to the Freer Motorsports camp. Running right behind him, also the 00 Tyler Brown, the 3rd and final truck on the top right now. That's by Schaefer Racing. They're going to try to do it 3 versus 7 right now. The only 3 trucks at the top, and it looks like they're temporarily going to fall back. Does that 42, if he gets cleared, does he make that move? We're going to find out here momentarily.
I think you got to, but you got to remember still this time by, they're going to be seeing 13 laps to go up on the board here, Jeremy. So, I mean, if you're Kyle Milliken, you don't want to make it too early, but you also don't want to make it too late because there is little room for error here. Yes, you're in a condensed pack right now, but there is not that many trucks right there. There is only about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 8 trucks, I believe I see right there, if I'm counting correctly with my noggin. And they're going to have to really give each other a lot of room. They're going to have to make sure that they don't really put each other in jeopardy of being shuffled all the way to the back and everything like that and possibly getting involved in wrecks right now. But if you're Kyle Milliken, you got to be able to plan your moves out pretty well. But Tony Solari, if he can save enough fuel right now by just riding around behind Sherwood Williford, he's going to look like the smartest man here this week. And he'll get the smartest man award if you had to give him one. Because right now, he last hit it on lap 33. And with only 13 laps to go, I don't know if he's going to make it. But if he does, he's going to be very close on fuel. And he's got a 20-second gap on the leaders behind him.
Milliken, almost a lap ago, does move to the top in front of the 20 of Douglas Hess. He now leads the top, but Bobby Terrell says, I'm going to extend this thing 3 wide, bringing James Torrey in the 6 with him, as his leader now are 3 by 3 for second on back here. Just did not want to ride third in line on the top. He wants to pave his own way, and here he goes. Excellent side draft. This is going to buckle down the 42 and the 20 as the middle of the... And when you're 3 wide, the middle truck does not have the best performance. So we're going to see the 4 shoot past the 42 temporarily, but this is going to play great for the bottom as those 5 trucks are just zooming past everybody that's on the 2nd and 3rd lane. That's going to break up real quick. Went from 3 wide to almost single file within a half a lap time frame here. But now, with the 28, Cody McKinney now behind Tyler Brown in the 00. What does the 00 have in store for leading the pack? Does he have a truck? We have not seen him out front all race long. So this is going to be a little bit of a situation of, do I trust this guy? Does he have what it takes to lead this pack to the front?
Yeah, we're going to have to see right now. And he is side drafting Jolly very hard in the corners. That's very key because if you side draft in the corners, especially put some air on that right rear, right on the rear of the spoiler there towards the right side, you can very well be able to get the momentum off the corner. And wow, Tyler Brown is being very aggressive right now. Went from blocking Milliken all the way to the top to coming back down to block the number 28 machine there of Cody McKinney. Now he goes from middle back to top. McKinney tries a slot in line, almost cuts in front of Terrell there off turn number 4. But those Fury Motorsports trucks up at the front right now of Tony Solari and Brody Hanna. And oh my goodness, we have a caution. This is going to change everything. And Tony Solari's strategy has just gone right out the window.
It looked like the leaders might have been wrecking, but no, it's going to be the 0 or the 2 of Alan Duranko coming off of turn 4. You got him on his roof cam right now. Just gets turned by the 29 of Tommy Schaefer. You cannot push in the corners, and he hit him in the same exact spot that the 50 and the 23 made about 15 laps prior. Just the left rear corner gets hooked, sends the 0-2 heavy around, does at least 1 360, if not 2 of them. Thankfully, the 2 was able to lock it down right before we hit the inside wall. So that truck looks beat up, but didn't cause any extra damage there. So he can get the rest of that truck repaired. Maybe that might play a benefit. There was a truck in the back, right? Now he can take this caution, reset, maybe gets himself a better position than what he was in currently.
Yeah, and that's a very good point to point out, Jeremy, here, because he can probably take tires, and he's on the lead lap. So it's not like he can pit and still lose a lap or whatnot. I mean, Alan Duranko is on the lead lap. He's currently shown 15th on the board. So, I mean, regardless, he's going to be starting inside the top 16 right now. As you saw the 7 right there, almost run right into the back of Tony Solari right now. We just had a moment up here in the booth, folks. where we were just holding our breath. I didn't even notice it until it already happened. Brian Hoskins almost just plowed the back of Tony Solari there going into 3 and 4. So good job to him. But you don't want to arc or break the number 11 machine for sure, because that would not look very good on your resume here, especially in the FTSR and the Martin Sports Truck Series. So good job for not running to the back of Tony there in turns 3 and 4. But you see the 11, he'll come into pit road, and I believe you will see Alan Duranko as well on pit road here, trying to take advantage of those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles and fuel as well here.
Man, that was just as intense as riding a roller coaster on a steep drop for the first time. I thought the Tony Solari was just going to get plowed, and just by maybe 6 inches, the 7 of Hoskins dipped down quick enough to avoid him. That would have been a game changer for that strategy that the 11 had. As a couple people came down pit road, Hoskins did, the 11 of Tony Solari did. We're seeing the 99 JP Burns. He's going to come down pit road. Michael Blackner, of course, these guys in the back half of on the lead lap, they're no doubt will be coming down for pit service, whether it just be tires or if they want to make a little adjustment, maybe add a little extra grill tape. Who knows? You got just a handful of laps left in this thing, so you can maybe get away with some things that you could not do on a long run. But this will shake up the standings here. 18 trucks currently sitting on the lead lap, as we got 11 laps to go at this time.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Jeremy, it's buckle up, reach up there, pull those belts tight one more time, as Larry Mack would say here. You're going to restart with about 7 to 6 laps to go right here. And if you're Brody Hanna, you want to make sure that Richie Coy is on your back bumper from the time you take that restart zone green flag all the way to the checkered flag. So Brody Hanna, Richie Coy, it's going to be hard to beat them, but I still think Kyle Milliken could probably do something that number 42 machine.
Yeah, 100%. There is 3 lanes here. People are not afraid to use them. We've seen Kyle Milliken just go to the top every chance possible, whether if he had a draft partner or not. He is not settling. So look forward to that 42 and see what he can do. It looks like, I was trying to see who was the lucky dog there. It looked like it might have been the 14, Elaine Allen, as he zoomed by the pace car after one lap was completed under caution. So I'm going to say the 14 got your Martin Sports hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award there. As we're going to restart this race with probably, 14 to, or actually, no, I'm going to lie to you there. Actually, you know what? Our scoring pylon, I think, has the laps incorrect. So there's 75 laps in the server, and they're on lap 61. So on my book, that's 15 to go at this time. Our score in pylon says 9 to go. So there's going to be 6 extra laps than what that's temporarily showing. So I'm going to have to apologize on that one. But actually, you know what? Am I live? I'm not live. I am so sorry. My producer's in my ear. I actually have my lap counter on TJ Bartel seeing lap 61. So I'm going to reverse that comment. It is 8 to go at the line here. So 7 to go when we take the green flag here. I think we're going to see 3 wide real quick on this restart.
Yeah. Yeah, you might as well, and Dustin showing some love to Jeremy up here in the booth, because
tonight.
Jeremy couldn't use his noggin for about a second right there, but it's all right. We all have our moments there. But I mean, yeah, Jeremy, you very well might just see some 3 wide here up on the restart. I don't expect them to go 3 wide in 1 and 2. I expect them to probably go 3 wide, probably down the back straightaway off turn number 2. But, I mean, these guys should know right now, if you're Milliken, Jolly, Terrell, Curran, Torrey, and Shad Curran out here in that number 66 machine, where did he come from? Plus 21 right now in that 213simware.com Ford F-150. Doing a great job tonight. Hasn't really been involved in anything as far as I'm concerned. And here he is right now, plus 21 from where he started, sitting in the 7th spot with an opportunity to win here tonight at Talladega. That is a great job, along with James Torrey in the number 6 Vegan Yacht Machine. He is doing a great job as well, sitting up there. He's currently up in the 7th position, 8th position right now, I believe. So he has a shot to win here tonight at Talladega as well. But they got to remember, Brody Hanna, Richie Coy have been just absolutely loving being with one another here tonight, especially when it comes to their front bumper and their rear bumper. You got to separate those two. If you don't separate those two, I don't think there's any chance that one of these guys is going to win tonight. They've practically been the entire top 2 all night long. I think if you're going to see 2 guys right here, Jeremy, who are going to be able to play a big factor and make that huge move within these next 7 laps, it's going to probably be Kyle Milliken and also more than likely Tyler Brown. If you could hook those two up, they've been two of the most aggressive guys all night inside the top 5 to 10. I think those two are probably going to be the two who could probably bring down the 23 and the 19 out of Fury Motorsports.
Yeah, I think Kyle Milliken needs to bring his teammates along from Elevated Esports there, Alan DeRonco and the 2 and the 99 of JP Burns. If they can get them two up there with the 42, that also might play a big dividend to break up this team. But right now they are controlling the top spot on the bottom and the top 2 spots on the pylon. As Richie Coy's going to start on the top side. Does he dip down in front of his teammate, the 23 of Hannah? Does Hannah keep clear? And it looks like right now the 19 is going to get a great launch. But Brody's not going to give it up. He needs all the points that he can get possible here. So it actually does not surprise me to let the 23 pass the 19 here, as Tyler Brown is not going to give him any chance of dipping down to the bottom. So right now Fury Motorsports is going to control this thing 1-2. Got the 4 of Bobby Terrell on that team currently running in 6th. Kyle Milliken stuck on the bottom right alongside the 08 of Sylvain Jolly and the Accent LED team, the lonesome driver for that team. A lot of one-offs here. With Tyler Brown, no help from his teammates. The 42 temporarily, no help with his teammates as they're coming to 6 laps to go.
Yeah, well, look at this. They might be 1 and 2 right now, but the 23 and 19 aren't hooked together. I believe with whoever they have behind them, it's who they're going to have towards the finish of this race. If they stay the way that they are right now, 6 laps to go, this time by at the line. Brown pushes Hannah now through 1 and 2. And Jolly all over the back bumper, the number 19 of Coy, last week's Martinsville winner. He's trying to push him back up towards the front. The inside lane gets a little bit of separation back from the 5th place truck of Kyle Milliken. That's going to enable the top side to start rolling down the Alabama Gang super stretch, as they only have 5.5 laps to go here from Talladega, as they're 3 wide in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, that's going to be the 50th. Stephen Hollingsworth that goes 3 wide first. Alan DeRonco on the 2 quickly moved up, but that's going to look like it's going to break up here. And it sure does. Back to 2x2. Hollingsworth back to the top here, coming off of turn number 4 with no help at the moment. He is side by side with the 20 of Douglas Hess and the 33 of Sherwood Williford. Get some excellent side draft here. There's a lot of checkup in the front, which is going to allow the 50 to maybe make a great run here. He's got the 2 of DeRonco coming back to his rear side here. Hopefully they can get a great push. And oh, the 20 of Douglas Hess cuts off the 50, checks him up. That's going to bring the 50 back to the bottom, or at least to the inside here of the 20, but right back to the top on the backstretch here, as they got 3.5 laps to go, or 4.5 laps to go, sorry.
Douglas Hess has almost been putting the 50 of Hollingsworth up in the wall, but look at the run that Hollingsworth has got by himself. If he could just get some help behind him, he could get towards the front. Go with them. Here comes the 66 Shad Curran to the outside of the racetrack. He's going to jump right up in front of Hollingsworth. Will anybody else join those two? Oh, and Curran almost cuts right in front of the 11 Solari across his front bumper. It's getting rough and rowdy here. It's getting late here at Talladega tonight. This time by at the line. 4 laps to go. Brody Hanna with Tyler Brown all over his back bumper as they're 2 and 3 wide through 1 and 2.
Great move here by Shad Curran to make this momentum on the top a little stronger here. Is got the 50, who we've seen momentarily in the middle of the race. Has a great job at doing at pushing guys. And so right now, if he can push the 66 Shad Curran, he might have a chance here to get himself in position for a solid finish, as they're still 3 wide now, as they are almost to the race leaders here. Great momentum on the top. We got the 99 of JP Burns closing in, as well as the 14 of Lane Allen. Also 2 really good trucks. 28 of Cody McKinney also going to jump up to the top to make this a 5-truck lane here on the top side of the track as they come to lap 73.
This time by at the line, 3 laps to go. It's a 3-truck race up at the front. You might as well call this the Kentucky Derby, because these guys are neck and neck and neck, just like the Kentucky Derby is every year. They're 3 by 3 by 3, 4 wide now. Look at the move by the 50 of Hollingsworth, going all the way up through the middle. Contact with Jolly in the walls. Curran, big crash. That's going to set up the second big one of the night. Solari on his roof, spinning like a table topper right now down the Alabama Gang super stretch. He's back on all 4 wheels, and that's going to bring out another Roasted Gems Coffee caution flag. Big, big, tough break here for a lot of drivers who had a lot of good chances right there in those closing laps, Jeremy.
That's the 3rd caution this evening, and it was 4 wide, as you called it. I was thinking, well, if the wreck's going to happen, the time is now, and the 08 just had a slight bobble. He moved up maybe a quarter of a lane. That's all it took with tight racing 4 wide here for the 50 to go up into the 66 of Shad Curran and just completely end his run. You saw the 11 Tony Solari up and over right there. It took out the number 4, the 99, the 6, the 14. Actually, I think the 14. Oh, if we can go on board the 14 after we get a couple more of these views of this wreck overall, he did a great job squeezing through there. You saw him on the right-hand side of your screen. And then he gets side-slapped by the 22 of Blackner, but I don't think that hurt him too much. About 7 or 8 trucks involved in this one.
Yeah, that was really big. You see the 14 there, though. Major damage to his truck here. He gets through it, kind of, but man, I mean, still enough damage. Wow, that's not something you want to see out of the front windshield for sure. Tony Solari, though, if we could maybe get a slow-mo of him going up and over, he was doing fine, spinning out, you know, minding his own business, and all of a sudden he got clipped really hard in the right rear, pretty much weight shifted that car, and it's going to come right here, I believe, when he makes contact with the 66, goes up and over into the racetrack. The camera goes. Big moment there for Solari. Oh my goodness. I think I might get sick here. You could just see how oh my gosh, this is crazy. But the 11 of Solari lands back on all 4 wheels. Tough break for him after a pretty solid night. Strategy didn't work into play, but he nevertheless though had a very tough break there off turn number 2.
Yeah, here's your one more time on board on the roof camera there, and just gets jostled around by the pack as they're coming through this thing. Everyone was really tightly packed there as we're at the very end of this race. So when you see a wreck like that toward the front, you just know something bad is going to happen. And on board with the camera inside the helmet there of Solari that time, and just looking back and seeing the carnage all behind him as he gets this thing whipped around. That's probably going to end the night for the 11 and quite a few of these other guys, but that's going to really thin out this pack here for this first green, white, checkered attempt.
Yeah, it definitely does. But look at the 2 guys who are still up there at the front. Really the same 5 guys. You see Jolly, Brown, Milliken. You see Coy, Hannah. All those guys still up there. And Stephen Hollingsworth, even though he was the one who kind of, helped with that wreck right there through turn number 2, he still has a shot at this, man. Even though he went around earlier on in the race, here he is in the 6th spot. He has a shot at this race. Also, Sherwood Williford, Alan Duranko, guys who had issues earlier. This just goes to show you how competitive Talladega can be. You can be out here with a destroyed truck as long as there's no engine damage or anything that would hurt those RPMs and to hurt that horsepower underneath the hood. I mean, you very well have a shot. Look at the 08 machine, destroyed. 50, destroyed. 33, some damage. 02, or the 2 machine, pretty much destroyed. All these guys still have a chance here, but it's still Brody Hanna, Richie Coy up at the front of the field. It's still going to be very, very tough, Jeremy, to break up those Fury Motorsports guys.
And now you made me hungry with the 5 guys comment there to open up your little part there, so thank you for that again. But, the 19 and 23 are going to control the top and bottom on this restart once again. So it worked really well for them up until the 3 wide and 4 wide occurred. We might see that again, but we got a lot less trucks in this pack this time around. So really curious to see how they're going to control this restart. I know Brody really is looking to capitalize as many points as possible on his side to catch up to his teammate in the points, as we have 3 races to go after the conclusion of this one here at Talladega. Going to do a quick shout out to one of our partners this time, Team Watson Racing Setups, leading name in quality, affordability, and professionalism with a staff of decorated, distinguished, and dedicated setup builders. TWRS delivers top-notch race and championship-winning setups to the iRacing platform across the entire simulation community. Check out a full list of services from TeamWatsonRacing.com. Get yourself a victory here this week, as we got 3/4 of a lap left here before we go green flag for the first of 3 total green, white, checkered attempts. I think we got one more caution in store. I'm really curious to see how Sylvain Jolly is going to run the top here. If he can dip up to the top really quick with the 50 of Hollingsworth, get around Richie Coy, That might set that that top lane up really good for this finish.
Yeah, it very well could. And you could just bet right now, too, that Sylvain Jolly is going to be on the binders all over the back bumper of Richie Coy, trying to separate him in the 23 as much as possible. But also Tyler Brown going to do the exact same, vice versa, from what the 19 and the doubles or the 08 are going to do to each other. So this race is still anybody's up in the air, but those Fury Motorsports guys, we keep talking about them time and time and time again. So strong up at the front of the field. I don't know if anybody has anything for them. They're going to have to make some really, really crazy moves here as we come up to this green-white checkered. But Richie Coy, good job being together with his Fury Motorsports teammate of Brody Hanna all night long. Tyler Brown, Sylvain Jolly, they've been up there. They've been in contention. Kyle Milliken also as well, one of the aggressive drivers with Tyler Brown. Stephen Hollingsworth, he still has a shot at this, and other guys as well behind them. This is still anybody's race here, Jeremy, as they get ready to come into the Geico restart zone and take that green flag. Hopefully the next flag will be the white and then the checkered.
This is going to be a great finish here for these guys. Who's going to succeed and do really well? Who's going to have an issue? We're about to find out here as pace car is down. Let's see if the 2319 can do what they've done all race long, or let's see if like the guy like Sherwood Williford, who's currently 4th there on the bottom, he had that massive pit issue, and then with the caution he was able to keep his lap, and now he has a good contention to run inside the top 5, or let alone the top 10. Green flag is out though. Equal launch here, but the 19 and 23 get a truck length advantage over the row number 2. They quickly suck back in, but I'm still curious, how quickly does the top move to the 3rd lane? Will they leave the 19 high and dry, or are they going to follow suit and let them run it out? As they come onto the backstretch, the 08 looks like he wanted to move, but they quickly dip back down to the bottom. Temporarily going to hold 2x2, headed to turn 3.
I tell you what, the 19 left a huge gap right there down the straightaway. You could have easily taken that. If I were Sylvain Jolly, I would have been taking that middle lane, no doubt about it, because the 19 left the door wide open right there. But these guys, clean restart here. They're coming to the white flag this time by side for second between Coy and Brown. Brown pushing Hanna through the tri-oval this time by. White flags in the air. Hanna out of shape. 1 lap to go. Richie Coy now goes up to the front. He'll clear himself on his Fury Motorsports teammate, Sylvain Jolly, and also Hollingsworth there up at the top of the racetrack. They're trying to make something work as well as they head their way off turn number 2 for the final time down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch.
Watch this 08 of Sylvain Jolly. I don't think he's done yet. If he can get right to the door panel of Kyle Milliken of the 00, he might have a chance to get a quick leap here. But right now, nothing's really going for him, so we're going to focus on the 19 and the 23. The 23 is not going to finish second place. He jumps to the top, and 3 other trucks follow him. This is going to leave Richie Coy into a big hole here. The 23 takes back the lead, which he's been all race long. And the 00 comes down onto the nose of the 19 of Richie Coy, causes a big wreck at the very end, but Kyle Milliken almost steals it there at the final moment. But the 23 of Brody Hanna is going to get his 3rd victory of the 2023 season. That's going to be his Martin Sports winning moment here tonight. And that's not what you see when you want to have your teammate wreck, but at the same token, that's going to help extend or at least catch up to the 19 of Richie Coy, as Brody Hanna is going to get a lot of points out of that one, as Richie Coy does fall back to 7th place after that wreck.
Well, what a move by Brody Hanna. You saw it there coming off turn number 4 for the final time. Hanna went to the outside lane, passed Richie Coy for the final time, which would be ultimately the move that would win him the race. So nice job there to Brody Hanna for making it. And this is at the line right here. Taking a look here, you just see right now the replay. Brody Hanna, Kyle Milliken to the line. This time by Brody Hanna by just about half a car length over Kyle Milliken there in the 42 machine. Great job to Brody, though. Definitely deserving win. As you see the 4, he's sideways across the line. He doesn't care. He finished in the top 10. That's Bobby Terrell. And then coming home behind him, to Tyler Brown as well. So overall, great race. Brody Hanna, though, nice job to be able to plan out that time, or just right there off turn number 4 to pass his teammate for the win.
Bobby Terrell was completely parallel with the start-finish line there. You don't see that too often, as the 23 is going to celebrate for the 3rd time this season. We're going to go ahead and kick it over to the unofficial results here tonight. from the Talladega SuperSpeedway simulated version. Brody Hanna, P1. Kyle Milliken's going to bring it home in second. Sylvain Jolly in third. Alan Duranko is going to have a strong finish in fourth. Cody McKinney's going to finish fifth. Sixth place belongs to Stephen Hollingsworth. Seventh, Richie Coy. Eighth, Sherwood Williford. Ninth place, Bobby Terrell. And round out tonight's top 10, Tyler Brown.
11th goes to JP Burns tonight at number 99. Maxwell Solsch rebounds to come home 12th. Shad Curran comes home 13th. Douglas has 14th. Michael Blackner 15th. Rick Webb 16th. James Torrey 17th. Steve Loomis comes home in the 18th position. And the 19th, Stephen Allen. Tough night for him. And also TJ Bartell rounds out the top 20 in the number 1 machine for Lone Wolf Esports.
21st, Tony Solari. 22nd, Tommy Schaefer. 23rd, Brian Hoskins. 24th, Colton Gum. 25th, Colby Mice. Joseph McKinney brings it in 26th. Leonard Stang, 27th. Joshua O'Connor, 28th. And to round out tonight's 29 truck lineup, Nick Goebel in the 25. This is going to bring us to our only full screen commercial break as we're going to gather the top 3 to have a word with them to get their final thoughts of this race tonight. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome, guys, back to the FTSR post-race event presented by Martin Sports. Here is we're going to talk to our top 3 to get their final thoughts for tonight's race, heading off into the final 3 of the season. First is going to be Sylvain Jolly, who comes in strong at 3rd place here in the 08 Accent LED machine. You got a copy?
Yes, hello, guys.
Hey, man, I made you one of my picks early on. I know you do well here at Talladega, and you had a very hit or miss race here tonight, much of a roller coaster ride, and you ended up bringing it home P3. What was your strategy like, and how were you able to bring it home in 3rd place tonight?
Ben, strategy is same. It's just to survive. Oof, it's the lap 32. 32, I'm not sure it's my fault or the 20. and touch it and the crash. Have it 1 minute for the damage. I want to continue and no repair. Fait que it's good for me. Mais just change one tire outside for the first pit, and second pit just change for the left.
Yeah, Sylvain, you did a really good job here tonight. We saw the Fury Motorsports guys. You saw Brody Hanna and Richie Coy up there all night long, pretty much 1-2. What did you guys, especially you and your team, what did you in particularly, along with the rest of the field, I mean, what more could you guys have done to break up those Fury Motorsports guys tonight? Because they were pretty much lights out from the start of the race.
Yeah, I want to comment on va dire ça, to follow for the Richie and Brody, parce que Richie and Brody is very fast. My car is not very fast. I want to follow for the Brody and Richie. Is for me is more easy. Puis after, he's very good for the last 15 feet. He's a big crash. I'm very lucky for the pass in the car and for the finish of P3.
Well, congratulations on that P3 finish, man. The floor is yours. Who would you like to thank before we let you go this evening?
Oh, sorry, Jeremy. I'm not sure for the and understand your question. My English is very little bit. Sorry.
No worries. I was just asking if you have any sponsors, anyone that's out there watching the broadcast tonight that you love to give a shout out to or a thank you.
Yes, thank you for my sponsor, Accent LED and Saddle.ca, and Brody for the excellent league. I'm come back for the after less for 2 seasons and come back for this for our next just for coming for next race after go to the vacation. May I thank you for the broadcast. Thank you, buddy, for accepted me.
Yeah, appreciate those words, man. And go ahead and have a good rest of your night and go and celebrate with a well-earned third place.
Thank you very much, guys. Good night.
Hey, yeah, good night. And that was the number 08, Sylvain Jolly, bringing it home in P3. And now we're going to bring in number 42 of Kyle Milliken. Do you have a copy?
Major.
Hey, man, that race was quite intense. You had the truck. You tried to make your own path the entire race, even when there's no one behind you. You went to the top. You tried to make as many passes as possible. And all in all, it brought you a really strong second place finish. So congratulations on that. My question is, you had some teammates out there and they just weren't on your level. So like, did you guys work together with that setup, or did you bring something a little bit different that played in your favor more so than them?
Everyone's kind of on their own thing tonight. So I've really worked on my plate track setups, and they seem to really work, especially on the high side. It's just couldn't get anyone to work with me, and my teammates got caught up early in some of the wrecks that were out there.
Yeah, Kyle, notice too, you just mentioned that you were trying to go to the outside lane. Nobody was going with you. Do you think that's really a big factor as to why you guys, and especially yourself as well, couldn't get Brody and Richie really separated tonight? Because we were just speaking to Sylvain, and he was saying that those guys were really, really strong all night too. And I mean, me, myself, and Jeremy, and our producer Dustin, I mean, they were hooked up all night long. Is there anything else you guys could have done, or maybe you yourself could have done to probably separate those two? Because like I said, you just had no help whenever you tried to make a move at the top of the racetrack.
Yeah, it seemed like whoever was lead truck on the outside just stall out, and they couldn't ever get a run, and it backed up the outside lane a lot. I think could have got 42, at least front row, could have held even with them.
He made a hell of an effort, though, and to bring it home second place, strong finish overall. So congratulations once again. The floor is yours. Who would you like to thank before we let you go this evening?
I just want to give a shout out to Justin Diltz and his family. They lost a loved one earlier in the week, so they're dealing with some rough times right now. And then I'd also like to say we'll probably be starting a GoFundMe for Sylvain Joy to finally get rid of that controller and get him a wheel.
That's right. I forgot about the controller. So that's
I didn't
a
even
super
know
speed.
that.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't even know
crazy.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's the widest truck out there.
that's pretty impressive to bring it home third place still with that. And sorry to hear that, Justin Dilts. Hopefully everything is okay and wishes across the board. But all right, Kyle, have a good rest of your night, man, and we'll catch you next week.
All righty, take care.
You too. And now it's time to bring in Mr. Brody Hanna for the third time this evening. This season is going to find himself in the Martin Sports victory lane. Brody, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
You and Richie had this thing on lock the entire time. Late in the run, Richie was put on the top side on these restarts, and at one point, or actually at the very end of the race, he finally got in front of you, and then things went a disarray. Then it worked in your favor, so you got some points on your teammate here coming to the final 3 races of the season. How were you able to be so dominant up front all race long?
Well, it's just, I mean, that's teamwork with Richie. The funny thing is, we had a new setup we were going to run, and last minute we decided, no, we're going to go with Old Faithful, and Old Faithful kind of worked out because we were wondering if the other one was faster, but it didn't quite push as great or didn't feel as comfortable. So we went with something we were familiar with, and it worked out. But the first thing I do want to say is I apologize. I hate Richie got caught up there. I knew, hooked up, we were pretty good there. And, our plan is always kind of, we'll work together and coming off 4, it's, you go for it. And unfortunately, I was trying to move down to give him a little draft, and the 00 was pushing me, come down with me, and start all that. So I took a little responsibility for kind of pulling him down there because I know how hard it is following and somebody makes a move like that.
Yeah, Brody, you guys did a really good job over tonight at Fury Motorsports. I just talked to Kyle and Sylvain, and both of them said you guys were just really hard to pass all night. I mean, you and Richie together were just like a dynamic duo. You guys were like Batman and Robin out there tonight, I mean, just slinging around the racetrack, everything. I don't think there was one moment besides when you guys were up on the front row on restarts and when you guys were being pushed by other drivers up at the front of the field. I don't think me and Jeremy ever saw you guys once get separated by more than 2 trucks tonight. Is there any moment in particular tonight that probably made you think, oh, shoot, we might actually just get separated? This could lose us the race by chance.
Well, there was a couple restarts, and we knew on the last couple restarts we were going to line up 1-2, and we were talking about kind of what to do. I said, well, we talked about maybe if a leader starts on top and you get that jump as the leader, you get down and clear. And we decided just to kind of let fate decide, the ending there, because I was like, well, go for it. Whoever gets it gets it. But you never know what's going to happen at the end of these races, as you just saw. Coming out of 4, Richie was leading and he ends up 7. So you really don't know. I mean, it all comes down to that last lap. So we didn't take for granted anything, but we knew we had strong trucks and we worked really well together. And if we stuck together, stayed up front, stayed out of trouble, we'd have a shot.
Kept it humble and you didn't fumble. Congratulations on that. And but the floor is yours, Brody. Who would you like to thank before we let you go this evening?
I got to thank all the teammates. I know it was a great night for half of Fury Motorsports. The other half, not so much, unfortunately. Tony having his issues and Bobby losing the draft early on back there. But got to thank everybody that's working with us. With Richie, Tony, and Bobby on our team. Got to thank you guys for the broadcast. Of course, got to thank Martin Sports for sponsoring the series. I love what they do. I appreciate everything they do for the series, and happy to have them on board for sure. NERDitudes for sponsoring the race tonight. I know you guys are kind of familiar with those guys, but I do want to thank NERDitudes for coming on board and sponsoring tonight's race, and got to thank everybody out there for having a mostly clean event. We had some issues, but everybody did a pretty good job out there. So appreciate them coming out. Hope everybody enjoyed it that was watching, and we'll go get them next week.
That was a great show for sure. And by the way, you have a shirt coming too. You did win tonight, so you will be presented with a Martin Sports shirt as well. So
yeah, I might need to find Richie's shirt size.
That might be a good gift. 2-4 on that, man. Well, congratulations once again, and we will catch you on Monday.
All right, we'll see you guys.
All right. That was number 23, Brody Hanna. Win number 3 of the 2023 A season. The only driver with 3 wins so far. It was really diverse on the win column up until this past 3 or 4 weeks, where we're starting to see a lot of repeat winners now. So we're getting to that balance where who's doing well, who's kind of mid pack. Even in the restrictor plates, you're seeing it. The best that's been all season was up front all race long here tonight. Jason, final thoughts on tonight's race?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I am very surprised we didn't have nearly as many wrecks as we did. We did a very good job. Not us per se. We did a great job here producing the show and stuff, and Dustin behind the scenes, and you leading us, and me as well. I mean, but these guys in general did such a good job here tonight. Bobby, there he is, right there. There's the man. I'm gonna call him out again there, and he's showing up the Nerditudes, all the gear and stuff like that. And hey, Brody Hanna goes home with a Martin Sports Nerditudes shirt. And still to come, we'll find out who that hard luck driver is. I believe we're going to announce that tomorrow or so on social media to see who that was. Few drivers, a lot of heartbreak here tonight for a lot of guys. I think of Tommy Schaefer. I think of Stephen Allen. A lot of guys we were talking about during our commercial break. But other than that, these Fury Motorsports guys, lights out tonight. Whatever setup they brought here tonight, Brody was right. Hey, let's stick to Old Faithful. You know, you still got to have the right setup on these trucks here at the super speedways, because no matter what, you want to make sure that you're able to be stable, make moves when you want to, and make sure that you're going to be able to push and be the pushy, because those are pretty much 3, 4, 5, whatever you want to call it, big things that you want to have here at these restrictor plate type tracks. But those guys, lights out tonight. And Brody said it. Hey, man, you know, we're together through thick and thin, like Batman and Robin pretty much is the best analogy I'll put it. But off turn 4, it's lights out, man. You want to get to that checkered flag first, and he did that, and he put his teammate in a bad position there. Tyler Brown went to the outside, tried to do the old switcheroo crossover to the bottom through the tri-oval. Wasn't enough, started a massive melee, and Brody Hanna won by just about half a car length over Kyle Milliken. A lot of talent here tonight. They put on one heck of a show. Can't wait for Monday.
They really did. And Dustin, since you came on board here, what's your final thoughts this evening?
Man, I say it all the time. It's Talladega, baby. It's nothing that I would not have expected it to go down. I mean, you had some hard racing. You had 3 wide battles. You had people pushing that to the bitter edge of being in control or out of control. Exactly what you would expect. I love the feeling of what Fury Motorsports did, coming down to the end. Brody said it best, just let fate play out. Whoever gets it, gets it. Let's roll with it. So I love it. I mean, it was great. A lot of heartbreak. I mean, Jason said it best. I mean, there's a lot of heartbreak here. It's why we can't announce who's going to be getting the gloves just yet. But I mean, there's a lot of names up there, a lot of drivers that were in a lot of thick of things. Some drivers went up on their lids, so we have a lot of factors to kind of play into that. But it's Talladega, and we get to repeat this again come Monday, so it should be a good show.
We sure do, as the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series. We'll take it live here on Monday night. But it's going to bring everything to a close for this evening. Quick shout out to all of our partners here. Full Throttle Sim Racing, FTSR.net. Get yourself signed up if you want to be part of this action today. Mach 1 Performance, that Monday Series Cup Series sponsor. Race Fabrication Shop that's produced multiple champions across multiple racing divisions. Find them on Facebook at Mach 1 Performance. Sim Racing Points. Sim Racing Points is an all-inclusive league points management system that allows you to completely track your league stats and points with one simple upload. Find them at simracingpoints.com. iRacing iFlag. Get notifications a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving the focus on the racing action. Find them at iRacingIFlag.com for a full product line. The Butt Kicker, the ultimate feel from the race car with the haptic response system from the Butt Kicker. Find them at thebuttkicker.com for a full product lineup for your sim rig. Team Watson Racing Setups, quality professionally built setups for all your asphalt oval needs. Visit them at teamwatsonracing.com for pricing and packaging. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee. Roasted coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with coffee from Roasted Gems. And then you can find them at roastedgems.com. This is going to bring to close tonight's broadcast. Stay tuned to the social media to see who is going to get the set of Martin Sports Racing gloves for the Hard Luck Award. That'll be coming in the next day or two, possibly. So until then, till Monday night, stay safe. Get your nerd on.